Well, hello. It feels like forever since I've been sitting here at this desk doing a carving tutorial. In fact, I'm sure the room looks different than it used to too. But anyway, today we're doing a little carving project. It's going to be out of a little cube of basswood. And we're going to make a little rubber ducky. See that? Very simple little project. I've been doing all kinds of little prototypes here, trying to figure out how to make it super simple, and I think I've got it. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it and start carving. When I say cube, it could be any size cube, really. This one here is 1.5 inches, and it doesn't matter if it's 2 inches or 2.5 inches or whatever. We're just going to go around and we're going to mark centers both ways. We're going to make a little grid on all sides here, and it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but just make a little grid pattern. We're just going to draw the duck in a grid to make for some real easy easy marking. So this is our little duck that I came up with. So if you want to look at that little 4-sided grid here, right, the center line here is basically maybe come out a quarter of an inch here. We'll just draw a little half circle like that. All right. Like I said, this doesn't have to be perfect. We just came out like that. All right. And then the same thing on the tail end here. We're just going to bring that up just about like that. Okay. And then the bottom side, let's say you come, this being 1.5 inches, just about a, maybe 3/8, little swale in the bottom there, like that. And then that not as drastic on the front, maybe just 1/4. All right. And then we'll go from the center line here, maybe 1/4 inch above there, and that's the opening of the beak. So we're going to give the beak a little bit of space here, and then we're just going to bring that round over like that. And from that bottom, we're just going to round the front. And that's basically the drawing of our rubber ducky. Now, the bottom, if this is the front side, this way, if you were to draw a circle, you don't have to, but the bottom is pretty much a circle. That circle would not be centered, it would be about 1/4 inch forward. So if you were going to draw a circle, it would be just forward to the beak side. All right, but again, not important. Now, from there, if you have a scroll saw or a jigsaw or whatever, you can cut that out right now and start. But we're not going to do that. But this is a little tricky area when you're just using the knife. So I think for video's sake here, I'm just going to make a cut right down here and like here, just to remove that out, because this is kind of hard to get into and takes a lot of time. Just like that. Before we dig in here, if you're new to this and this is one of the first videos, I'll have a link in the description about I created a playlist to really get you up to speed and how to start carving, what wood to carve, keeping your knife sharp and all that stuff. But one of the most common things that are said in the comments are always, well, I could carve like that if my wood was as soft as yours. Well, it is good wood, but there's a couple things. I've got construction worker hands, so I got a good grip, and that comes with practice. But your knife, so if your knife can do this, then you're ready to start carving, right? You gotta have a sharp knife. A lot of guys chew on their wood with a dull knife, and that doesn't make anybody happy. So anyway, digging right in here, we'll just start by just taking the corners off the bottom of our little ducky here, all the way around. We've got lots of play. We got a good 1/4 inch angle on there, and then we'll just work that all the way around, and then we'll get the corners. Do the same thing on the corners. Just take the corners off. You should have a safety glove on. Don't look at me and my lack of safety glove. A safety glove will save you lots of cuts. Alright, so just like the picture showed, we get a little bit off the more of an angle on the back to the tail than the front little breast scoop. So I'll get you down here closer and we'll carry on. So as you can see, like I was saying, that little line there, we're just kind of up to the tail. We're just kind of rounding that back to the tail all the way like that. And the same in the front. Not as much as the back, but enough. And then all the corners, we'll just kind of take these corners off here and round it all over. Alright. Just give it a nice, like I said, that circle bottom, you're kind of working towards that, even though you don't have to draw it on there. It's going to end up being round. You may remember last summer's video when I did the big guy with the chainsaw. So I kind of have a thing about rubber duckies. I blame Ernie. Okay, so that's where we're at with the bottom. Just a little more to the tail, a little less in the front. Alright? Now you see the top of the breast, how it comes in? A little point there. We're going to take that out all the way across the front. So I'm going to start on the corners and take that little V cut out of there, and then we can work our way across it. Coming up. Like that. And then again, we've got it rough like that. And we can just kind of start rounding. Everything's going to be rounded in. Alright. Alright. Now, we've got that, the beak here. But we're not going to worry about that just yet. But we will take that point of that beak and just draw a line across there so we don't lose it. But in the meantime, we're going to bring this across to the back here, like a V cut. Alright. If you have a V tool, it's a good time to use it too. And just run it along there. Because we gotta thin that, we gotta thin the head. See how we're doing that? Get that on both sides. And we can see how that's rounded there too. So basically what we've got here, we gotta thin the head down. This is 1.5 inches, so basically 1/4 inch on each side. Like that. So as we get notch that out, now we can just whack that side of the head off without much to do. And get it same on this side. Very careful with these little pieces. They like to roll, so if you've got a glove, especially on little pieces, it's a good idea to have it on. But there, see that? So now we can just take all those corners off before we actually make the head too round. Squaring, taking the corners off. Alright. Alright, let's just start rounding the head. So as you can see, we've got a nice round head. And by doing that, we'll probably thin that head even a little bit more as we work all the way around. But all these, basically we want a ball on top of the body with the beak sticking out when we get there. Around the back of the head here. But before we get to the front, I want to set that beak aside so we know what we're dealing with. Alright, we're going to get that beak sticking out here. So basically we're going to take that line. We're just going to do the same thing. We're going to go up on a V cut and then down. And then the same line, we're going to do the same thing going down and up. Alright. There we go. And that above here is definitely coming off. See how we're going to round that. And that's how we start getting our little ducky head shape, because we got to get that round right over. So now we can go all the way around here. You get that beak in a little bit deeper, and then we'll set the size of it. Now we got, see, a little bit square headed, so come back to the sides, and we just want it nice and round. Very flat and square, so let's take some of the sides off of here. As you can see, we really want it just to flow around everywhere, nice and round. Round head, round body. So it's starting to look a little bit square here, so we'll thin them down and take all the fat off the sides and get these corners rounded. That makes a difference already, see that? Knock those corners back and get underneath. Around that. That's looking better. Okay, as far as the beak goes, we're going to just kind of round it around like that. I don't know if you can see that very good, but basically just let's just give it like a smiley face underneath it to start with. We'll fine tune it after. See that? Bring the ends down just a little bit. And as usual, just keep on rounding. So if I look at that, I can see we got like a, from the top view, very egg-headed. Probably don't want to take too much more off of the front and the back, but the egg-headed sides have to go. So just round that all around. Start bringing it up to the top. Same other side. Just little pieces until we get what we want. If we think about the tail feather here, if that's the center mark there, we're not going to be any thicker than that here. So basically we're going to cut that right around like that. Right? You see that? Just going to leave the little tip of the tail. Alright. Then we'll have pretty much the full shape to really fine tune. And same thing, undercutting the bottom the whole time. You may not want all those little cut lines like that, but I kind of like it. Remember, if you start seeing little rips and tears in your wood, just go the opposite way. But I'm going to round that a little bit on top. Smooth out this transition here. I keep saying this, but it's true. Always looking to round it over. Keep rounding all the edges all the way around. Alright, well we're looking like a duck. I'm going to take my little V tool here and I'm just going to trace this, actually I'm just going to put my glasses on so I can see. I'm just going to trace that beak a little bit to clean it up a little bit of rounding. Kind of undercut. I can really round the edges. And that gives you a line to cut up to too. And again, you can do that with your knife. You don't have to have a V tool. See that? So right now, this is where we're at. I'm just going to go give it a once over, take off any little high spots and unround spots, and we'll talk about a couple more details, but we just about got her licked. One thing I was looking at I forgot all about was the little tail piece. See how we need the little pop on the tail there? I'm just going to go ahead and take a little bit of wood out of here and make that tail end stick up a little bit more. All right. But anyway, as far as the video goes, that is basically your rubber ducky. But what I did with this fella here is you can just put a subtle little wing on there, whether you choose to you know, just take a V tool even and just kind of. No rubber ducky has a full shown wing. They're just like little nuances of a wing, right? So if you do something like that, you just got to make sure you clean off the bottom up to it. Take away any ridges. And you can do that. All right. Just kind of smooth them over, but you can do that, but a lot of rubber duckies have absolutely nothing as well. So anyway, you can do stuff like that. The tail end, whether you just put in a couple little marks like that, you know, even on the top, you could do the top, split it, but you don't want too much detail in a rubber ducky, right? Because it's a rubber ducky. So take your little fella here and we'll add some paint. I have a video on how to paint your carvings if that's of interest to you, but it's pretty straightforward, but I'll just show you here me painting it. And there you have your little rubber ducky again. Alright, fun little carving, good enough for anyone, but like I said, little things, the carvings like to roll on you, so if you got a glove, get her on there because that's very easy to slip. But anyway, hope the video isn't too long and easy to follow along. And we're going to change up things this year a little bit, but we're going to have a chat about that in a video down the road. But hope you like it, and I want to make a special shout out to the patrons that supported me on Patreon in the last week. They found my link and just went for it. So if that's of interest to you, there'll be a link in the description, and again, I'll talk about it in another video. But appreciate the support, guys, and see you in the next one. Later.